now we're finally going to do the party banter. So, if you're not particularly interested in seeing this, then you can probably just skip over to the next video. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy me trying to get the rest of the banter that we haven't seen yet. So I'll talk to you guys, I guess, later.
Why do spirits seek out mages? I've always wondered.
You speak of demons. I am not a demon.
Aren't demons simply spirits with unique and sparkling personalities?
They have been perverted by their desires.
But what do they want from mages?
Perhaps they wish the same as I. Silence! You appear to have a preoccupation with beverages, dwarf. Why is that?
Beverages?
I refuse to call them spirits. It is a humiliating word for your drink.
Oh, you mean the booze. You should try it.
If it makes one act like you, I think not.
Your loss.
That part of Orzammar, Dust Town it's called, is it really as I've heard?
I have no idea. What have you heard?
That it's like a really terrible slum, or an alienage.
Oh, no. I've seen an alienage. It was rather nice.
I'm beginning to feel very fortunate.
Isn't perspective wonderful? You'd think people who are so tall would have more of it.
Touché, Sigrun.
Are you saying that you could become a demon, Justice?
I said no such thing.
You said that demons were spirits perverted by their desires.
I have no such desires.
You must have some desires.
I have none. Desist your questions.
You guys might want to remember that specific conversation. I won't say why, but let me just say right now, you might want to remember that specific conversation between Anders and Justice.
Now that you have a physical body, what do you plan to do with it?
Serve justice, as I always have.
I know what I'd do if I suddenly became a complete man.
You're alluding to something. I know not what.
You can't be that stupid.
We have work to do.
Cheer up. No one loves a grump.
For a dead woman, you're remarkably perky.
I could be less perky if you like. The darkness of the deep roads has seeped into my soul. The world is dead. My heart is black. Alas. Whoa.
Let's stick to perky.
Yeah, I kind of prefer perky Sigrun.
I shall do.
You don't actually think your jokes are funny, do you?
Could have sworn that fly was buzzing again.
Har! Let me tell you about my life in one word.
Oh no, don't take me back to the tower. I'm far too delicate.
I'm not only a dwarf, I'm a moron. Listen to me fart.
Oh no, big Templar man. What are you going to do with that sword?
Ew.
Ew.
Don't play with fire unless you want to get burned, son.
But
As you wish.
Anders doesn't know fire spells. He doesn't know fire spells, and yet he did it when we first met him. I'm just gonna give that up. That's really hard for me. It's really hard for me to give that up, though, folks.
Technically, you're dead, right?
Yes, technically.
How does everything work? How do you grip your sword, for example?
I do not know. I just do. Magic, I suppose.
And, everything works? Everything's intact? All the plumbing?
Oghren.
You are alluding to something. I know not what.
Oh, come on!
Oghren. Oh, Oghren.
How do you stand living under all that rock?
I don't understand. We just do.
Orzammar is under a mountain. Just thinking about the crushing weight of a mountain overhead makes me shudder.
Surfacers live in buildings. If a building falls on you, it will make you just as dead.
Thanks for the reminder.
That is interesting.
I'm just going to assume that something died in your mouth.
Funny story. Dwarf attacks mage, dwarf wins.
Yeah, I noticed how you pissed in your armor in that last fight. Well done.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
This thing you spoke of. Switching bodies.
Not a favorite topic of yours, I take it.
Would such a thing be permitted? would it not be considered abominable?
If they're dead, it's not as if they need the body, Justice.
But I can still feel the man who once lived. I know his life, It is not just a body.
That's good, isn't it? I'd rather you felt that way.
Perhaps you are right.
I think I think Nate is right.
I shall do...
What?
What?
You were staring at me, you man-skirt-wearing freak.
Oh, I thought you were being attacked by a wild animal. It was only your beard.
You think you're so clever, don't you? Sparkle fingers.
Sparkle.
I shall do it.
Sparkle fingers.
I understand that you struggle against your oppression, mage.
I avoid my oppression. That's not quite the same thing, is it?
Why do you not strike a blow against your oppressors? Ensure they can do this to no one else.
Because it sounds difficult?
Apathy is a weakness.
So is death. I'm just saying.
Again, folks, that's another conversation you guys should remember between Anders and Justice. I'll bring that up later.
Did you tell Valana that dwarves are born as little rocks?
No. Maybe. Yes. Yeah. Valana takes herself too seriously. And come on, it was funny.
All right, it was funny. You should have seen her afterwards. She was huffing like a constipated Bronto.
Hot.
I love that they were able to continue that specific conversation. That was pretty cool.
You have memories, right? Kristoff's memories.
Yes.
And Kristoff was married. You have memories of that, yes?
Yes.
Aha! So you must know what I'm talking about.
Ogren.
Must I?
Come on. Kristoff must have buttered the southern pony in his day.
I do not believe Kristoff has ever seen a southern pony, let alone buttered it. What does that even mean?
Nothing. It means nothing.
Ogren, really no. I think you pretty much can't beat around the bush. You pretty much have to be very straightforward. But I don't even think Ogren is willing to be straightforward with that kind of stuff.
Why did you even want to be a Grey Warden? You thought it would make for great drinking stories?
I can't believe you survived the joining.
You got drunk and made a bet, didn't you?
I bet you I could crush your tiny human skull.
I bet I could drink you under the table.
You're on.
That I gotta see.
I found something under my bed at the keep. Something tells me it's yours.
Miss Maggie. I remember her. She's not mine. She belonged to my sister, Delilah. Miss Maggie was her favorite doll.
Miss Maggie appears to be missing her arms.
Delilah and I had a fight. Then I ripped off Maggie's arms and hid them in places where Delilah would find them later.
What a sweetheart you were.
Yes. That doesn't surprise me.
So, you speak often of bodily functions.
Not half as often as they happen.
But why this preoccupation? I have a mortal body, yet it provides me no such amusement.
You have a dead mortal body. Try a living one sometime, and then we'll talk.
Possess a living host. I would never.
Tough break. Enjoy the corpse love.
Ooh. Oh. Something that Justice said during that conversation. Ooh. Ooh, I'm getting chills right now. Those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you will later.
You are correct that I do not understand, Valana. Help me understand.
There is so much history between my kind and humans, Justice. Where would I begin?
You can only be responsible for your actions, your judgment. Does the same not apply to them?
You may be right. I don't know.
And the atonement?
I will atone when they do.
So you never told me what the ceremony was like.
It begins with chanting and toasts. Then we bid our families farewell. Then wailing and tears.
That does sound like a funeral. How depressing.
We're not the legion of jaunty pub songs.
But think how much easier recruitment would be if you were.
So you are a thief?
Who, me? Not by profession, my friend.
And yet you were imprisoned for attempted theft.
Of things that belonged to my family and which were taken from us unjustly.
A likely tale.
Perhaps one day we could sit down to discuss magic.
What would that accomplish?
Lots. Great civilizations are built on the sharing of ideas.
Sharing? You mean stealing, of course. Followed by crushing those you stole from.
You know that chip on your shoulder? I think it's replaced your head.
Thank you, Anders. Thank you.
As you
I
command.
mean, seriously, did the programmers purposely want to make Valana the most least light character in Awakening?
Here's your dagger back.
Did I drop this?
Oh no, I nicked it from your belt. Old habits die hard, you know.
Stealing is wrong.
Only if you get caught. And need I remind you that I wasn't caught?
He's got you there. She's got you there, Justice.
I believe you have a responsibility to your fellow mages.
That bit of self-righteousness is directed at me.
You have seen oppression and are now free. You must act to free those who remain oppressed.
Or I could mind my business in case the Chantry comes knocking.
But this is not right. You have an obligation.
Yes, well, welcome to the world, Spirit.
Yeah, you know what? Pretty much every single conversation between Anders and Justice, you pretty much will need to remember. Pretty much.
The chip on my shoulder hasn't replaced my head.
Whoa! She's talking to me! Voluntarily! Check the sky for flying pigs.
Forget it.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
Humans and their irrepressible urges.
So what does the Legion do when you're not, you know, dying?
I'm not sure. We do that a lot.
You can't do it all hours of the day. There must be some times when you're not out getting killed.
In those hours, we listen to smart-mouthed mages ask stupid questions.
I always thought dwarves would be nicer.
I always thought mages would be smarter.
What sort of atonement would be appropriate?
You have reconsidered then?
I am simply curious to hear what you think would be suitable.
Teach them. Show these humans what they are so carelessly destroying.
And if they do not listen?
Then you have done what you could.
It's worth thinking about.
Have I ever told you that I find tattoos on women incredibly attractive?
Have I ever told you that I find most humans physically and morally repulsive?
Good to know.
I've thought about what you said, Anders. The comparison between my family and mages, it's idiotic. I'm not about to transform into an abomination simply for being a How.
I didn't say it was a perfect analogy.
Being a How also does not allow me to control your mind.
Kinda missing my point, aren't you?
I am not a fan of oversimplifications.
Fine, fine. Your loss.
What will happen to you once Kristoff's body has fully decayed?
I do not know. Perhaps I will be drawn back to the Fade.
Or remain here, bound to the tiny motes of dust that once were Kristoff.
Do you think that's possible?
I know less about this than you. How securely is your spirit bound to this body? Can you leave it?
I could, if I chose to.
Do you want to leave it?
I do not know anymore.
I apologize, Justice. I didn't mean to suggest you would become a demon.
I should certainly hope not.
I just wondered what relation there is between spirits and demons. Demons are a worry to any mage.
I do not know what makes demons as they are. Such evil angers me, but I do not understand it.
Well, I hope you never come to understand.
I as well, mage. More than you could possibly know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. Again, those of you who know, you know. Those of you who don't know, you'll know later.
You seem rather attached to that cat, Anders.
It's more that he's rather attached to me. Isn't that right, Sir Pounce-A-Lot?
Isn't that name a little ridiculous?
What do you think I should call him? Frederick?
There are worse names, I suppose.
You escaped your circle, didn't you?
Several times. But they always found me using my phylactery. Not that I minded being caught much. They always assigned the same Templar to track me down. Or perhaps she asked. I hope it's the latter. Ah, those long trips back to the tower. eye in manacles, she glaring silently. The air practically sizzled.
You escaped your circle? Repeatedly? For a woman?
Well, not for her, but she made being cool more fun. That's me, always looking on the bright side.
Oh, Anders.
You don't always wear robes, do you?
Not when I'm naked, I don't.
I mean when you run from the circle. Robes would make you easy to spot.
So does the big I'm a mage sign around my neck. I like to make it easy for the Templars.
Ah, so that's how it's going to be.
My fireballs are bigger than yours.
It's not the size that counts, Falana.
Did they tell you that in your circle? They were trying not to hurt your feelings.
The circle lied to me? Andraste's sword! My world is falling apart! I have been unmanned!
Of course Valana's fireballs are bigger. Anders, you don't know fire spells. For goodness sake, give it up. Get it to your head.
What if you found a living body to possess?
Even if I knew how, I would not possess the living. Such is an act for demons.
What if the person were willing?
Why would a mortal ever allow such a thing?
For life, for love. Perhaps together you could do what they cannot do alone. If you gave instead of taking, I would consider you no demon.
It is something to consider. Thank you, Nathaniel.
That's yet something else you guys need to remember. Put into your memory banks, folks.
How do the Templars always find you, Anders?
Incredibly angry. That's how they find me.
There must be some trick to it, surely.
They began recruiting women. The male Templars never stopped to ask for direction.
You're impossible to talk to.
I do my best.
Alright, everybody. I think that's... See anything interesting, boy? Alright. At least pet Sky, since we haven't pulled out Sky recently. He rolls around happily on his back. Good dog. Alright guys, I think that just about takes care of all the banter I was able to exhaust. Thanks again for watching this video, and when we come back, we're gonna start beginning the portion that ultimately leads us to the end of the game. So until then, love yourselves and love each other.